I think many people take for granted that many people don't even realize the power of how this word can lift them out of even the darkest places, and even in the darkest places they can still find reason to celebrate this word, and this word is gratitude. One of the first things I do in the morning is give the Lord thanks for how He has blessed me, how He is blessing me, and how He will bless me throughout that day. I do this despite any circumstances that may be happening around me. Do you know, when things are going wrong for us, it's sometimes so difficult for us to have gratitude. We're just so wrapped up in what's going wrong, we forget about everything that has been going right in our lives. There are times in our lives when we're so wrapped up and focused on what we want tomorrow that we have no real appreciation and value for what we already have today. In our efforts to gain more, we sometimes fail to recognize how valuable what we have already is. We run from our past and strive for our future, but forget to appreciate our present. You know, one of my favorite books is by an author called Deepak Chopra, The 7 Laws of Spiritual Success. And he says, the past is history, the future is a mystery, but the present is a gift. I love that saying. I'm just going to repeat that. The past is history, the future is a mystery, but the present is a gift. Such a beautiful statement that I really believe to be true. So as with any gift that we are given, we should appreciate the present, value it, and not waste it. Appreciate the many small things and simple joys your life has for you today, right now. Develop an attitude of gratitude, as gratitude raises your altitude. It lifts you up when you are down, it props you up when you're weak, and it makes you truly enjoy life as it is at this very moment. The essence of gratitude is not that one moment, it's every moment. Nothing in life should be taken for granted. We are then able to see the magic that surrounds us every second of every minute of the day.
Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of Make Health Your Habit Live. It's such a pleasure that you have joined me today, and I'm so excited today because I have another international guest here, and she has an amazing story that I know you are going to enjoy and learn from, how she lost 85 pounds in weight. So this is the last Wednesday in the lockdown, and you chose to be here. So hold on to your seat. This is Make Health Your Habit Live. Yes, good evening to Make Health Your Habit Live. You know, it's such a pleasure to be here every single Monday in front of you, sharing something that I'm really passionate about, and that is helping people make health their habit. Because, as I would like to say, there's no better habit you can develop than making health your habit. I just want to say a big thank you to Dr. Isaiah Joseph, who was with us last week. A great show, a really lovely and nice guy, and a great book. And he shared some fantastic Caribbean low carb recipes. So I really want to thank him for being on the show. And I just want to know who's with us today. Who is with us? I just say hi. You know, use the chat and say hi. Hi KK, good evening. Nice to see you. Good evening, Mr. P. Good evening, see you as always. Good evening, baby. Nice to know you have joined us. This is the 3rd or 4th time you've joined us. Great to see you with us. Absolutely wonderful. Wherever you're from, we have an international guest. So if there's any international people on the line, just say hi. It's nice to know you have taken the time to join us today, because you could have been doing so many other things. So I really, really do appreciate you taking the time out. So hi to everybody who's just said hi. Today is I'm talking about a subject I'm incredibly passionate about. Now, I believe in making health your habit. I don't believe that the only way I live is the way to make health your habit, which is primarily low carb, sugar, and refined carbohydrate reduction. There are other ways to make yourself healthy, and this is why I have a cross section of guests on the show. But I am passionate about low carb because it's done so much for me. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Ken. I am known as the Lean Mind Body Coach, and I've had a journey whereby I was overweight and I lost over 50 pounds. This is how I looked. This is so this is how I looked 3 years ago, and using the methods we're going to talk about today, I lost 50 pounds. But the guest I am have on today, she lost 85 pounds and she has a wonderful, wonderful journey. And I use my experience to put that in a book called The Lean Mind Body Method. And I share that each week with you, just the concepts around losing weight and being healthy. Now, look, I know that many people see the way I live and the way I eat is kind of a little bit fringe. Social proof is one thing, but there are so many studies that you can find now that really, really talk about the benefits of a low carb diet. And there was one that came out just this week. Just this week it came out. And this is Insight into General Practice evaluating lower carbohydrate diet and its effect on type 2 diabetes, which again, it's something that I am incredibly passionate about. There are two things I focus on, which is losing weight and reversing pre-diabetes. And this is a UK study that just came out this week with some really solid evidence about the efficacy of a low carb diet. And the evidence comes out all the time. For anybody who wants evidence about how a low carb diet can help you, you can just Google it and find it. And today, in the last, say, 7 days, we had Alison Hammond, who hosts the Good Morning Show, and she admitted, well, she just made a public announcement that she was suffering from pre-diabetes, and she was obviously concerned. And for me, it was nice she made that public announcement, because I do think that there needs to be a greater awareness about diabetes and pre-diabetes, especially if you have a family that suffers from diabetes, you are 6 times more likely to contract diabetes. So that's what I am passionate about. Low carb eating, it's changed my life in so many ways. And you're going to hear from our guest in a moment how it has changed her life. I think this is about time. I think we're about time now to be able to bring on our guest from Arizona, USA. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Joanne. How are you?
I'm good.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much for joining us. I know there's maybe slightly a little bit of freeze on your feed, but we'll get there and we shall get through everything. Joanne, just tell us a little bit about yourself, if you can, please.
I'm a stay-at-home mom from Arizona. A couple of years ago in 2018, got really serious about it just the beginning of this year.
So, so you you're a stay-at-home mum, and you just got really, really serious about
Mhm.
losing weight. Has weight always been an issue with you, Joanne?
Yes, most of my adult life, I have been severely overweight.
Okay, okay. And what? set you on your journey to finally say, look, I am gonna, make a difference to my health and lose some weight?
So the I remember the moment is cooking dinner. Previous to that, a couple weeks before that, I had started, my back pain was I would have a racing heart all the time. I couldn't move a lot. Um, the pivotal moment for me I had to keep going back to my bedroom. Didn't even stand to cook for my kids anymore. Awful. And that was decided that you know what, my kids deserve better. I deserve to get.
John, because there's a slight delay, I'm going to just kind of paraphrase you in a moment. And I think what you're saying is that, the journey that you started on was you kind of looked at your children and you decided that, you need to really make a difference to your health. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes,
So,
pretty much. Yeah.
absolutely. It's fantastic. So what brought you into the low carb world? What was it that brought you into the low carb world, Joanne?
Um, research. I um I can't really say what exactly brought it to feel better, really. And I found something that worked for me, and it ended up being low carb.
And your first impressions, what was when you first, because a lot of people, when they first come across low carb, all they see is people talking about eating lots of fat, lots of butter, and taking away the kind of the one nutrient that we grew up thinking that we needed for energy. What did you feel when you first was told that?
Well, there's where I was raised. I was raised in two different households, really. Told kind of ate whatever they wanted. There was another way. We were always that eating fat was so low carb, and they said high fat. I said no way. Um, that's not going to help me. I really had to grow up thinking my body.
Okay. Well, Joanne, I'm just going to just share with you again. We have a delay, but you have a great story. So again, I'm going to paraphrase what you said, because I think what was great about what you just said, and you think you had a little bit of an advantage over people, because it seems as if you had a background or family background or a culture or a tradition that eating fat wasn't as bad as some people would normally say. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great advantage, because this is how most people kind of fall away from a low carb diet, because they see fat as an enemy. And, a low carb diet does mean that you have to eat a little bit more fat, because you're taking away one of the macronutrients, which is carbohydrates. But most people don't realize we don't need carbohydrates for energy. I mean, we get far more energy from fat. So how did your low carb journey actually start? How did you start your low carb journey, Joanne?
I basically was time and out of doctor's offices, the emergency room, it hit, and I was really in fear that if I didn't get better, I would today, right now.
What I know that you had some health issues, Joanne. What were those health issues that you had? If you can share some of them
Mhm.
with us, what were the health issues that kind of gave you that catalyst, so to speak, to start the low carb? Because you mentioned you went to the doctors. What were some of the health issues?
Yeah, so I have chronic back pain. I suffered from chronic anxiety, depression, bipolar. disorder, a lot of mental, as well as the physical. My knees are bad. But mostly I was in and out of the doctor because I couldn't function with my back the way it was.
Okay. So it seems as if you had a few ailments really, and we can talk about the weight in a moment. But I have found that a number of people who have found on a low carb diet that once they join a low carb diet, the weight becomes secondary because they just receive so many other health benefits from a low carb diet. So we'll go on to the weight in a moment. But how did the low carb diet help your other ailments, or did it help any of your other ailments?
All of them,
What?
every single one. Um, I am no longer taking medication because I can now regulate my moods on my own.
Now, is
I
that is
get
that
out
for the
more.
is that
And
for the anxiety? Yes.
yes, and my depression.
Okay, great. So the low carb diet helped with your depression.
It did. It made me feel 100 times better to where I didn't have to rely on other better.
I think that's absolutely amazing, and again, I talk about a low carb diet and how reducing your sugar helps with your mental health. But you're a real life example of how reducing sugar in your diet has helped with your mental health. So it helped all of your ailments, all of them.
Yeah, essentially, yes. I still have a little bit of, it's a struggle from day to day sometimes, but overall, I don't depend on anything else.
That's absolutely wonderful. Let's just have a look at the other benefit. Let's just have a look. I'm gonna just put you on here, Joanne, and then
Mhm.
I'm gonna join you beside me here. And this is yourself. This is a picture of you, Joanne. Yes.
This is
Um,
me at the beginning of this year.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And so this was you, and it's always uncomfortable taking those pictures and also making them public. So I appreciate you allowing me to do that. But this was
Mhm.
the before, and this was the after.
Yeah, that's me as of about a week or two ago. Yep.
Wow, that's wonderful. And and just what were your and because it's really important. The psychological aspect of weight loss. What were your thoughts when you took the first picture?
Um, I'm like almost about to cry right now. I didn't like myself. I it was isolated. Um, I didn't get out much. I didn't want to be around people. I kept myself.
Yeah, I totally relate to that because when I was on my journey, I have to say, and I'll just admit it, there were times when I wouldn't want to get undressed in front of a mirror, or I would walk past a mirror, because I just didn't like the way I looked. And each time you look in the mirror, it actually reinforces and and the reason why it's important to take that into consideration is because when you get to that point, you have two choices. You either say, well, I'm going to make a change, or you could say, well, I can't do anything, and then you go spiral down even worse. And that's what happens because people
Yeah.
look in the mirror and think, well, I put on so much weight, this is the way I look, I can't change, so I might as well eat and be happy. So I
Yeah.
think the conversation around the mental play that happens is incredibly important. But you looked in that mirror, you didn't like what you see, and you decided that you just needed to make a change, and that's absolutely great. You
Yeah.
know,
That's exactly what happened.
you were nice enough to share with me another picture. Let me show the other picture you shared with me, and it was this picture. And
Okay.
a side
Yeah.
picture's always great because it shows how you look. And this was the after picture, which I absolutely love. You just look so happy in that picture.
Mm. Yeah.
You just
Yeah. I was.
uh, you just look so happy, and it's wonderful to see. And this is the kind of joy that a low carbohydrate diet gives to
Mhm.
people. It allows them to experience that joy in a short period of time. Can you tell me what was the period of time? We'll go back to this view. What was the period of time, Joanne, between you losing? Because How much weight did you lose, first of all, initially? How much did you lose?
Uh, so years I've lost 85
80.
pounds.
That's wonderful. 85 pounds.
In April lost. Mhm.
That 85 pounds, I mean, that's a great amount of weight for anybody to lose. And, that journey must have had its ups and downs. Is that correct?
Yep. Every day still.
Uh, and let's be real. Let's be real, because I had my down days. I have to say, I was absolutely too friendly with M&Ms when I started my diet. I was really, I mean, I'd go into the shop and I'd kind of feel that the M&Ms were calling me, Ken, you want me, and I'd have to, no, 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 and when you're on this kind of journey, especially when you're trying to move and get rid of that sugar craving, sometimes you have these bad days where you just fall off. Did you have those bad days in the beginning, Joanne?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I still do. It's still a process.
What was your weakness?
Candy.
Okay. Oh, so your weakness was candy. Just like myself. You know, so when it came to support, I don't know what the situation is at home. What was it like? Did you have the support you felt you need, and how important did you feel that support was on your journey?
So it's been a process for everyone in my husband and our three kids. When I started my journey, my family, everybody's a little skeptical, including my husband. But over time, research and we got the physical proof that these things were happening. The support became greater. My husband is really my backbone. He supports me day in and day out and kind of keeps me on track the best he can. But it's been great.
And would you say that support has been pivotal in you keeping on track?
Yes. It's easier to do it with other people.
So here's the question. Here's the question. Has your husband's diet also changed because your diet's changed? Here, that's the question. Or do you have to have a separate part in the cupboard?
Sort of. It's kind of twofold because he works a very labor intensive job and he's naturally very slim. So he doesn't really have to watch what he eats.
Okay.
But when I started essentially what I eat.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really does help if two people are on the same journey, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. I always advise, if you're doing a low carb diet and there are people in the family that are not on it with you, you just have to have possibly a separate cupboard or a separate section in that cupboard where you put your low carb staples, so you can go there and take it. But I think
Yeah.
it's absolutely great that your husband and how were your children? How did your children? Did your children ever try any of the meals?
Yes. Yeah, I have 2 kids that will eat basically anything, and I've only got one that's really picky, but they have their moments where they try what I make.
That's wonderful. I know that you did something great as well, because you've obviously been on a journey, and just very similar to me, you know, you were so fascinated about and I'm so grateful about what low carb. You decided to share your journey and share what low carb done for you. That's correct. Is that correct? And I know
Yeah, it
you.
is. I made a,
Go ahead. You made a little Facebook group, didn't you?
yes, I did.
I think it's, and I've seen some of your posts in the group, and it's been absolutely wonderful. Let's talk for a couple of the meals you have. Um, um, and just tell us a little bit about these meals that you have. All right. So these are a couple of meals. Also, what is this meal here, Joanne?
That is called Tuscan chicken. and all the recipes that I share to my page, um, at these are making other groups and the internet there with my group. But this dish is a cream sauce with chin that you really just can make in one. Is super awesome.
It it looks absolutely delicious. I have to say that Tuscan chicken, it really, really does look absolutely delicious. Tell us about this dish, please. What's in this dish here?
That is, those are called zoodles. So to replace and all it is zucchini spiraled using heavy cream, butter, and cheese to make like an Alfredo sauce with some bacon on it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually love zoodles. Zoodles is absolutely a delicious, and it's a great
Mhm.
alternative to pasta if you like pasta, and you can just create the Alfredo sauce, and you can make the different sauce. But that dish looks. Are those what are the red things right at the top? Is it sun dried tomatoes at the top?
It could be, I believe that one is bacon, but
Oh,
you could
bacon.
probably do either one.
Okay, and I have one more dish here, and
Yeah.
this looks like a little treat here. Tell us, this dish here is.
So that is actually, though they're kind of like little, it's a mix between regular cake because they're uh, um you make the dough with all of your low carb toppings,
Okay,
the alternative end of
it looks like please repeat that again. What these are, because you went a little bit. Let me come. Just repeat that again, please, Joanne.
so this one is just it's basically like a mix between a donut and a coffee cake.
Oh, oh, that sounds delicious. That sounds like a delicious
Yeah.
a delicious snack there. And the reason why I always show the food, because it's great that people realize that you don't have to be deprived on a low carb diet, that there is a full plethora of foods that you can eat. Have you ever felt, deprived, or like you're missing out on your low carb journey?
I'm gonna be totally honest. I did because I didn't know that there was so many different alternatives. Now that second nature.
Yeah. I think that's why it's important for people on a low carb diet to do their research, to educate themselves, to really understand that there is a plethora of, of dishes that people can have. And you don't have to stick to the same meals at a time. And it's great that you realized after doing your research that, the world's your oyster. Yeah, the world's your oyster. For
Mhm.
me, what's so surprising is people always ask me on a low carb diet, well, what do I eat? And it just it's like rice, pasta, potato. Is if you take away that, people seem really perplexed about what they eat. But there are so many alternative side dishes that you can eat in a low carb diet. Are there any specialities? Because I know you come from Arizona. Are there any kind of because I know, like, where I come from in Jamaica, there are some specialty dish that I can turn into a low carb, well, parentage from Jamaica. Okay, all right, yeah. I know there are some special dishes here. Is there any localized dishes from Arizona that you've been able to convert, traditional dishes that you might have had from your part that you've been able to turn into low carb?
So Arizona itself, I don't know if we have a dish, but we are very close to Mexico. So
Okay,
Mexican huge here. And
okay.
Mexican rice, things like that.
I, I absolutely love Mexican food. Is there a particular dish you can share with us? Just quickly, a dish that you can share.
Tacos, nachos, you can make low carb, any variety of those, really anything, or enchiladas. Bit hard, yeah, but it.
So, where it comes to on your low carb journey, what is the next step for you, Joanne? It personally, have you got some more weight targets, or how do you plan to progress? Because I know you've started the Facebook page. What is the step you want to take on your low carb journey, Joanne?
So I do have about 30 or 40 more pounds I'd like to lose. If I were to stop right now, I would be happy, but is uh, exercise, city exercise, get my body toned up, and skin.
Well, I mean, well, I think 85 pounds is a real achievement for anybody um, to lose, and I think when you look at research on any diet, sustainability is always an issue. But with a low carb diet, the research is
Mhm.
showing there's a higher level of sustainability once people do what you said. They learn the kind of the plethora of food that they can eat, and they start to see the results. So the sustainability in a low carb diet is much higher. I really want to like to know, because a little bit about your how you know publicly plan to share what you do with other people, but I just want to share with some people some things that are happening later on this week. So if you just hold the line just one moment, I'm just going to mute you there, and I'll be back to see you in a moment. So I mean, this was Joanne. Look, right, I just want to share with you some stuff that is happening with me. Just go through a quick thing. We're really pleased that Tribe is open. We're talking about low carb here. This is what Tribe is about. This was a picture of me at 53 and one at 56. Yes, just like Joanne, we have to show where we're coming from. Look, let's be vulnerable here. Yeah, there are many people who talk about losing weight, but they've never had to lose weight. Yes, I know what it's like to look in the mirror and not feel comfortable. And this is what Tribe is all about. And that transformation definitely happened to me here. So look, if you need to lose weight, if you're aged over 40, you need to lose weight and just basically need to be a bit healthier, then Tribe is something that can really help you. And there is actually now what I did. I had a consultation with some people, and for we've now reduced the price of Tribe. So Tribe, it was $29.99 a month. It's now only $19.99 a month for a limited period. And instead of a 14-day trial, we're giving away a 7-day trial. So you can go to this website here, leanlifestyletribe.com, and you can try Tribe for 7 days. And all the things Joanne is talking about, all the benefits that Joanne is talking about, you can learn in Tribe. But plus, not just about low carb nutrition, you can learn about sleep, you can learn about exercise. And we're talking about sustainability. You can learn a lot about mindset. It's a phenomenal project and community that wants to build. So visit Tribe, and if you like it, try it for 7 days. If you don't, then fair enough. But within 7 days, you'll absolutely gain something. And just to show you, in Tribe, we have like a member dashboard. We have delicious recipes. We have a big focus on Caribbean food, by the way. We have like cheat sheets and guides and video education courses. And we have a big Lean U program which will guide you through help setting the foundation. So visit Tribe, and one of the biggest things about Tribe is our community, because it is about community that gives you support, and you get all of this in Tribe. 7-day trial, leanlifestyletribe.com. Really passionate. Visit the website, take a look, sign up. You will have to put your credit card inside it, but you're not charged. You're not charged, and you can cancel every before the 7-day trial, and even into the 7-day trial you still have a money back guarantee. So go there and try it for 7 days. All right, I have a brotherhood program. It's a lean brotherhood program starting in January, only for men. This is about men looking after themselves. And if you register before the 14th of December, you get like a £700 bonus. real bonuses. So go to the leanmindbodycoach.com and you can register there. And if you want to try some of the meals Joanne has been speaking about and some of the meals I eat, if you go to either leanmindbodycoach.com or the Lean Lifestyle, you can download this 5-day meal plan, low carb meal plan, which includes these things like garlic, trout, jerk chicken with my own personal jerk chicken recipe there. It also includes curry salmon. This curry salmon is absolutely delicious and so easy to make. And there's a shopping list and guide. I mean, there's so much, but just go there, just register for Tribe News. If you go to the Lean Mind Body Coach, there's a mailing list. If you go to the Lean Mind, the leanlifestyletribe.com, just move your mouse off the page and then the opt-in will come. All right. So go there, just some free stuff so you can try it for yourself. All right. I have a regular podcast on a Wednesday called Lean Bites Live. This coming Wednesday, it's all going to be about exercise. I don't know if I'm going to debunk the myths about calories in, calorie out, because I don't want to upset any personal trainers, but I'm definitely going to speak about exercise and how that contributes to your well-being and your work. So it's really, really informative show on Wednesday. That's Lean Bites Live. And I'm so excited about next week, Monday. Next week, Monday, I'm having something called the Women's Room. And I have these 3 phenomenal ladies are going to be on the podcast next week, Wednesday. We have Dr. Anleeb Aham. We have Marilyn Devenis, who's a neuroscience coach. We also have Connie Cowins, who's a nutritionist. These are phenomenal ladies, and it's only going to be about women's issues. And we're going to be covering things like, menopause and weight gain after menopause, maybe talking about PCOS, but specifically, this is aimed at health issues that women suffer from. So tune in next week. We are going to have a real engaging show in the Make Health Your Habit podcast live, the Women's Room, Monday the 7th of December. And if you're watching us on YouTube, just subscribe or like, you'll be notified whenever we hold another show. So that's if you're on YouTube, or if you're watching on my page, just like the page and you'll be notified whenever we do anything. All right. So that is about it for the moment. Joanne, just wanted to share with you what ain't missing from I missed that. I'm going to put the chat up at the moment, Joanne,
Okay.
because there may be some people who may have some questions. Unfortunately, I know for whatever reason there's been a little bit of delay, but hopefully people have got the message out. The simple message is that you have just a woman who decided she wanted to lose weight, and your why was not just your health but your children. All right, and that was my why. You set about that, and you discovered a low carb diet, and through that low carb diet, you have lost 85 pounds. But not only have you lost 85 pounds, you have cured or at least reversed or made many of your ailments a lot better. And that is phenomenal. There is absolutely, so, and this is what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to low carb diet. It's not just about weight, it's about health. And, there is nothing that, with the greatest respect to you, Joanne, there's nothing that you did that no one else can't do. Yeah. As you said to me when we first spoke, you're just a stay-at-home mom who's on a journey, who wants to live as long as she can and be as healthy as she can for her children. So if anybody has a question at the moment they'd like to pose at this moment, please use the chat inside either YouTube or Facebook. And, let's see if we can answer any of your questions at the moment about that. So, John, could you share with us a couple of 2 or 3 tips that you would give anybody who wants to start on this low carb journey that you have been on, or you are on, I should say?
Yeah. So what worked for me started slowly. I slowly things out, complete shock, keto fluid, vegetable or whatever it would be in my case.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well,
Um,
what if this is what we're going to
drink
do?
all
If you speak,
those are my
and then I'll kind of paraphrase you because it is freezing, but we really want to get the message out. I think you have a really important message. So, did you say that you took it slowly in the beginning? Is that what you said?
yes.
And that's the kind of advice, and I think that's some great advice to give people, to take it slowly. I mean, if you're very disciplined, then dive in. But it's a great advice by just taking it slowly. What was it you said about the keto flu?
That me gradually into low carb actual to me they could.
Well, the keto flu is something that kind of scares a lot of people off doing a low carb. Let me just clear this up for anybody watching. It's a symptom that is temporary. It kind of kicks in about maybe 7 days in, or sometimes even before, 3 to 5 days, but they are temporary. They do not last forever. Your body is adapting, your body's kind of going through a detox. And invariably, it's because your body is releasing salt. Your body's releasing glycogen and water. And as your body releases the glycogen, the salt, and you lose salt and you lose potassium and sodium, and you kind of get a little bit dizzy. But there are ways to get around that just by possibly adding some extra salt to your diet. So don't be afraid of the keto flu. Um, what other advice? Because I'm going to hopefully paraphrase some of the things you're saying, Joanne. What other tip would you give anybody who's listening who would like to start a low carb diet?
Make sure you get lots and lots of soup,
Can you repeat that? Lots of.
water.
Yes, absolutely. Water is absolutely a great thing. How many glasses of water were you drinking each day?
Before I started,
Oh, during your journey, during your low carb journey.
I drink a minimum of 1 gallon a day
Oh wow, yeah,
every day.
that's right. Do you have the kind of water bottle where you mark it to make sure you drink it, or you just have a few bottles around? Yeah,
Yeah,
water.
no, I have a big jug.
Absolutely. Is there another tip that you could give anybody? I mean, as I said, we have people online who may be thinking about starting a low carb diet, and your journey and the information that you're giving them may just help them start that. Is there another tip that you may be able to give them, Joanne?
I research, find things you like that you can change over to a new way.
Yeah.
Keep things consistent.
I think that's incredibly an important thing to be able to incredibly important thing to you're gonna have to Google that, Mr. P. You're gonna have to Google that one there, Mr. P. I mean, that's incredible. Joanne, I know you have a Facebook group. So if people watching you wanted to kind of reach out to you to see a little bit about how would they be able to reach out to you, Joanne?
So you can find the Facebook group. It's called Lazy Keto Joe,
Okay.
or you can actually I posted on that.
So just to repeat, is it the Facebook group is called Lazy Keto Joe? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's the best way. And I know you have a very vibrant Facebook group, and let me commend you for taking that step to be able to share with people your story, because it's important. And over the next weeks and months, I will have other people coming and sharing their story, and I really appreciate you because I know the time is about 2 o'clock in Arizona.
Hmm.
I know there's been a slight lag going on, but I'm hoping people have understood the gist of your story. It's an incredible story. 85 pounds is an incredible story, Joanne. The ailments that you have relieved is an incredible testament to low carb, but also a testament to you. And I think that anybody watching you will be encouraged and will be inspired to think, well, I'm going to give this a try. And I really appreciate you taking your time, Joanne, to share your journey with us. We really appreciate that here. So I'm just going to put you on mute here one moment. All right, Joanne, and I'll be back. So that's the message for today, guys. It was just a weight loss story, and I plan to have other weight loss stories in the future, just so you can see, because just so you know, it's just not me that has lost the weight. I've got some incredible stories lined up. And again, I really want to thank Joanne for taking her time to be able to share with us her journey and just be open and be honest of her weight loss, ailments, and a low carb diet can do the same for you. And you know, if every week I have the show, if only one person listens, then my job will be achieved. So I'll be back here again on Wednesday talking about exercise. I really hope you join me. You can subscribe on YouTube or like my page, L.E.A.N MindBodyCoach.com. And yeah, we're going to go into the exercise and the famous now, or the infamous, Sugar Smash. That's a great game that we play. So, you know, all I'd like to say to you guys, listen, there's so many things you could do, so many habits you could develop. But the best habit you can develop is to make health your habit. Bye for now, guys, and I will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Make Health Your Habit podcast live show. Remember, the views and opinions expressed during the show represent those of our guest and host alone. We hope you enjoyed the show.